Let us pay respect to Luangpor ครับ First bow. Second bow. Third bow.
Hello, everyone. I'm not seeing what's happened here. Still slipped away on me. Everything's going on. Anyway. Okay. That should be good. That's good. Okay. What now? Never know what to say. In Canada now, if you watch the media, you get advertisements for warm countries, beaches, palm trees, and I'm here. I was thinking just sitting outside, having some fruit juice and the sound of the river and the palm tree. This is a dream come true. Very nice being here. Does anyone have anything that confuses them or they'd like to consider or me alai, as we say? Any questions or? Don't scratch your head because I'll think you're raising your hand. Okay, I'll just try something. There are a few questions that came through the Zoom session. One was, if I don't want to argue, how do I get past negativity? So obviously there's some conflict. Another one was, how did I practice in the 3 months after my mother died with the confusion? And then another question, sort of, how do I get past negativity? And they're all kind of similar questions. And like in terms of how did I practice? Well, I'm just aware of the way things are. So there's really nothing special to do, because my concern is not the objects of experience, it's the knowing of experience. And you can see confusion or non-confusion, it's the same being, right? It's the same sense of presence. So that would take me to ask the folk that asked that question, what is your sattva? What is your faith? What do you trust in? And obviously we have faith in the Buddha's teaching. So we have faith in Sila Samadhi Panya in the different ways we put it. But kind of more deeply, what do you trust when you're meditating? And also, is meditation something that's actually integral 24/7 to your life? Is meditation just some kind of a different activity as opposed to normal life activity? Or really is it very much always integrated throughout life, through all experience? And you can see how awareness in this particular way of thinking about it is, you don't really stop awareness, do you? Like you don't leave Niranara and then be stupid. You stay with awareness. So it's not really a practice like doing Qigong or boiling an egg, right? It's just pervasive. And so I guess the issue is like trust. So if confusion comes or negative states of mind comes, then you're sort of tested, maybe not like consciously, but you are tested to, what are you going to do about this now? Maybe it's like Mara coming and whispering in your confusion, what are you going to do now? There's nothing to do, really. There's nothing to do, just to be aware. I think most of us, when we started meditation, we did metta bhavana deliberately, or we did anapanasati deliberately, or we did a subhagamatana deliberately, or We did 32 parts of the body deliberately. So it's very much a kind of me doing something to get something, which is not wrong, and it can give results. But as I've been saying, there comes a time in your meditative life you question the very sense of me doing something all the time, and you move, I think, quite intuitively to the sense of being rather than becoming, knowing rather than knowing anything particular. When we say puru, it's not like you know anything particular, you just know. Oh. So in the case of confusion, confusion's like this. In the case of inspiration, inspiration's like this. Luangpor Chah would say it's our real home. And then, of course, people will say, oh, I've got to find our real home. Right? And no. Nothing to find. You know, it's just Benyang Niang. But it's so difficult to have faith in that when life is confusing, negative, not the way you want it, not the way you want it. So then you come back to just the foundations of Four Noble Truths. What do I want that I don't have? What do I have that I don't want? That's simple. And then you come back to letting go of desire. And the more you do that, the more you just come home all the time. You come home. So with a confusion with my mother, I mean, I can't remember I don't have a very good memory actually. But I can't remember that I did anything special, except I stayed away from people because I knew that with people, I would have to suppress that and be a nice guy. And I did it a few times when guests came and the other monks, it was kind of important that I was there. So then I would just put this aside. It was interesting that, okay, now I'll be charming. Not in any kind of hypocritical way. It's just, no, now I'll practice metta bhavana with this person because they're here and they don't need to know my story. And I can put it aside for a while. That was interesting. And then they go and then I feel crappy again. But somehow that felt okay. So I guess I have enough experience that whatever material comes up from consciousness that's conditioned by rather adverse factors, that it's okay, that it's all okay. And the questions that people wrote into the Zoom, there were several like that. Like one was like one person's very much serves the Sangha community and others don't. And they think, why don't they help? Why don't they help? I do all the work. I do all the work. Why don't they help? Why don't they help? That's common. You know, how many families are there that you have like 4 brothers and sisters and one person always takes care of mom and dad? That's pretty common. And the other 3, maybe they're at the casino. I don't know. And then, of course, if you're the caregiver, you go, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. And yeah, it's not fair. Welcome to life. Life is not fair. So we're not even looking for fairness in life. We're just seeing life is unfair, feels this way. Injustice feels this way. We can, as social beings, address that. We can have a family meeting and say, hey, come on, we've all got to pitch in. Probably won't help. I'll still go to the casino, or not, but just at a psychological level, an inner level, we have expectations of how life should be, and then life is like this. And if you use this kind of retreat to develop a sense of trust in awareness of change, now it's the knowing. Benyang Niang, it's like this. My name, all the language is really pointing to one thing. Know that you know. I think Yom Tip, you had that this morning, that kind of insight. Oh, mind knowing the mind. Know that you know. That's a funny one. Know that you know. What do you mean know that you know? What do you know that you know? Very circular, right? But actually, it's quite profound. I'm here now. It feels this, but I know that I know. So it doesn't really matter if it's hot, cold. Well, it wouldn't matter if it was cold. I'd need a sweater. But, at some level, your refuge is not an experience. It's not experience, not a sense experience or a psychological experience or a social experience. It's something deeper than all experience. It's within which all experience comes and goes. And so maybe to these folk and to all of us to say, what is sattva in a deeper sense? What is faith? What is faith and trust? When life gets a bit wonky, you know the word wonky? Unbalanced, gets a bit unbalanced and in ways that you don't expect, then that's the test. Where's the faith? And if you've used the language of it's like this, then that should start to click in on all those pressure situations. And then you've got a chance to work it through. Memory is very important. I was pondering memory this morning and how I've got a few memories of things I've done which were not nice. Not that I'm a cruel person, but there are moments and times of heedlessness in one's life where one does things which one regrets. And who's free of that? Maybe the Buddha, but not me. And it's interesting how, like, I've got one memory of something I did in 1977. And it, it was really insensitive, but I kind of understand the context, and I still have that memory. But I don't dwell on it. I don't say bad monk. And I say, oh, what do I say? I say memory feels like this. So then, and memory is like that. It's like, obviously in the moment of its happening, it was much stronger, the regret. But then you still have these echoes in your mind, but they're just memories. So whether that's happened, that I've done it, or it's happened to me, or whatever, I have one memory. I was 17 years old. I was riding a 250cc Honda motorbike. I had a girlfriend on the back. I passed 5 cars. Crazy, just stupid young guy showing off. And I just made it. And I still have that memory. I almost killed 2 people. And, because it was so extreme and so really dumb. So have this kind of, it's not, it doesn't come, it doesn't stay in my mind, but it's interesting how it'll just pop up. Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't kill it. I'm so grateful. And just realizing how crazy young men can be, right? And that kind of thing. But that's memory. Memory is that way. But we are not our memories. I am not those mistakes that have been made, and other people are not the mistakes they have made. Right? That's just we are something bigger than our memory system. We need memory. We need sanya. If you didn't have sanya, you'd have Alzheimer's. Right? So you don't want to get rid of it. But that memory which creates personality, that can be known. You can know that as an object. So again, just these simple exercises, listen to sound, feel the body, is training the mind to see sankharas arising and ceasing. It's the kind of classic way we talk about it. It's easy to say sankharas, but when a memory comes up, it's hard to remember. That's a sankhara. It's more like that's me. But we are not our memories. Our memories condition our personality. I've got another memory that comes up. I was in high school, early high school. And there was another guy bigger than me, older than me. I liked him. And I was just nagging him all the time. I don't know, like just saying, like a spoiled brat. Right? He was a really nice guy. And he said, don't do that. I said, don't do that. All right. He put me on the ground in the snow and rubbed snow in my face. And, it was good for me. That was really just what I needed because I was so stupid. We do that in Canada because we have snow. You don't have snow, so we can do that. And that, it doesn't come up often, but every now and then, say, yeah, you were really dumb there, weren't you? It's bigger than me too. So memory, memory works that way. I mean, more deep-seated memories, like people who have been abused in childhood. Wow, that's serious. That's serious memory. That's difficult memory because or someone who has suffered, maybe like the Twin Towers, 9/11, or an Afghan veteran, or things like that. We had one monk who was he was a Marine in Vietnam. He's died since, but he was a monk with us. And he was at Chithurst, and we had, so before we had kutis at Chithurst, and we built these little bivouacs where we built a frame of what was it, willow or something, a stick frame, and a floor of sticks. So we're kind of off the ground, and then we put carpets over the willow frame, and then we put insulation over that, and that was like a kuti, so we could afford. And so he was, and Chithurst has a big forest, and he was on the hillside, going down to Hammer Pond, kind of situated on the hill. Beautiful, beautiful place. And someone was hunting across the valley, deer hunting, and 3 rounds, 3 rifle shots came across the valley, and he could hear them go into the bank near him. And his mind fell into the Vietnam War for like 2 hours. It's just sunk into the horror of that. So those are the extremes, there's the extremes. You can see how that does. The more extreme it is, the more it creates a kind of reality. So memories like that, usually you need very good therapy and very skillful means to deal with that. So if that does happen, then and you kind of get lost in the memory traces, then we have really good psychology now for PTSD and all those different things. But the kind of normal run-of-the-mill life's problems, none of us are free from mistakes. And the Buddha, like I say, Devadatta tried to kill him, rolled a rock down, and like, has your cousin ever tried to kill you yet? In other words, who are we to think that we are free from such adversity? We all face it. And then also others, who is, when we look at others who make mistakes, although we are cautious if people have been abusive to us or whatever, but in the normal course of events, if people are insensitive, are they always insensitive? Maybe, then you have to give distance. They're not kalyanamitta. So we do have that. We have like social norms, like kalyanamitta, and what is a good friend, and one who shares your life in a way where you can trust them. So not trusting someone isn't bad if it's kind of part of a skillful social living. But mistrust, which is just based on hurt and emotionality and so on, and just holds, can be investigated. I've seen times where families where someone has not forgiven a parent, and then the parent dies, and they say, "Oh, that's tough." They kind of got stubborn, and I'm not going to forgive dad. Nope. And the issue maybe hasn't, like, if it was child abuse, okay, then that would be, you could understand it. But it's just one of those family issues, and I'm not going to forgive. Dad just had a heart attack. Oh no. And then what do you do? What do you do with that? You're stuck with it. So to carry people around like that is to carry yourself around in a kind of painful way. And even though we might not reconcile with family members or business partners or whatever, we don't have to carry it around as a sense of self. And so when in this whole, talking about memory, if you just label memory and memory, it really helps a lot, rather than memory itself. That really, really helps a lot. It helps to liberate that. All right, let's do some meditation. I won't give instruction, let's just sit.